Hello and welcome to Truth, Lies and Work, the award-winning podcast where behavioural science meets workplace culture. We are brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. My name is Leanne. I'm a chartered occupational psychologist.
My name is Al. I'm a business owner.
And we are here to help you simplify the science of work.
Welcome. So this week, Leanne and I are on holiday. So we went through the archives and we found an interview that has not been run in full, has it, Leanne?
It hasn't. This is a brilliant interview that we did, back in 2023 almost, I think, with Angela Foster, the petite style coach. She is here to help us understand what to wear to work, why it matters, why we should care, and the psychology of it all. I'll be honest, when I went into this conversation, I was slightly skeptical. I came out of it totally believing in everything Angela said, and she's also the most awesome person. Follow her on LinkedIn. She's also got loads of really cool free stuff on her website, like petite closet audits, a body shape quiz. She's really down to earth, makes it all really accessible, and actually makes very excellent points about how what we wear to work does affect our confidence, our mood, how we show up, and even shared some incredible data around how it can impact our performance.
Yeah, well, there you go. So after this very short break, we're going to go and join Leanne and Angela, and we will see you back on Tuesday for the regular schedule, the This Week in Work, and then the following Thursday, we've got another interview with someone I think you're really going to like. So we'll see you in a second.
Angela, welcome to Truth, Lies and Work. I've really been looking forward to this conversation as a petite woman myself. I think I am 5'3". I know, you'll tell me. Before we do that, tell us, introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're famous for.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I can't imagine you are looking forward to this any more than I am because I'm a huge fan. I'm Angela Foster. I am a style coach for petite executives, C-suites, and entrepreneurial women.
Can I ask, what is the definition of petite?
Depending upon who you ask, it's either 5'4" or 5'3" and under, which is 44% of the world population. While it's easy for us to feel like we're a small segment that designers and brands don't pay attention to, we're a pretty mighty bunch.
I'm 5'3 3/4", so I can push 5'4" if I want to, I guess. But I'll take some little light make out of me all the time for being so small. I need a step to reach the cupboards and things like that. But there's 44%. We should gather, create some kind of movement.
Yes, that's exactly right. All of my new people, I'm like, welcome to the revolution. We're going to change the world. Yes, absolutely. Now, how tall is Al?
He's 5'11".
Okay.
Is that just shy of 6 foot? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Oh, no, I was just curious.
Really?
His voice sounds tall.
Did you expect him to be taller?
No. I think that's actually a bit above average for men.
Huh.
I don't do much with men, but I feel like I read that somewhere that yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. And now the world knows. No one ever knows how tall we are. They always see us sat down. So yeah, this secret's coming out already. Oh, Angela, I wanna get straight into it in terms of fashion.
Yes.
It's one of those things that I think as a woman I think about. I can't say I'm like a fashionista in any way, but I'm conscious of the clothes I wear and how I present myself, particularly in professional situations. I mean, from your experience with clients, how does what we wear influence our mood and our confidence at work?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you asked this. There was actually a study done, and I think it was at Northwestern University, and it was probably like 2010, 2012, something like that. And that's exactly what they studied, was the effect of our clothes on our mood, our performance, and all of that. And it came out that people who had a lab coat on, and were told that it was a doctor's lab coat, had improved mental ability, improved creativity, improved performance. They did better on mind games and like mind bender games, that type of thing. So it really affects a lot on not only our performance, but then also, especially when it comes to women, our confidence. Because we've all seen, we've all been in business situations where two women walk in the room and one of them is like oozing over with confidence and you're attracted to her. You want to, introduce yourself, get to know her, find out what she does and all of that. And then somebody else who has less confidence and kind of like blends into the background, doesn't put herself out there, and all of that. So it can be in, a social situation, but you also want to think about like, what does that look like in the work situation? And if you're the one that doesn't feel confident to put yourself out there, then, that's obviously going to have ramifications on, promotion abilities and getting different jobs and that type of thing.
Has there been anything, or again, from your experience, if that's how clothing impacts our own mood, our own behaviors, our own general mental ability by the sound of it, which is really cool. Can clothing also impact how people see us, maybe first impressions in the workplace?
So I call it the 7-Eleven rule. What it is that strangers make 11 decisions about us in 7 seconds of meeting us. So when it comes to, like I meeting with a new salesperson, meeting with, a new podcast host, meeting with anybody, like whether we realize it or not, you made 11 decisions about me and whether I was going to be any fun, whether I was competent, whether it was like going to be a great interview or not a great interview before I even said, "Hey, Leanne, I'm Angela." Do you know, like that's how quick it happens and that's how powerful it is. So it has so many ramifications besides just what other people think about us, but just how we show up.
Does it impact our dynamics as a team, leadership's perception of us? Like, how far does that go beyond that first impression?
So, and I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Marcus Buckingham, but it's something that just for whatever reason, it just, those things that you hear that just really burn themselves in your brain and you're like, oh my gosh. One of the things that team members like to know about their leaders is that they're consistent versus being friendly and empathetic and all of that. They like a consistent leader that they know what to expect from them. And when you are the leader and you're setting the bar for this is how my team shows up, this is how we come to work, this is how we present ourselves in front of clients, this is, all of that, that consistency is key, not only in how we look, but in how we treat our teams and that type of thing. So when we want to be great leaders, knowing, like setting the expectation, living up to that expectation is incredibly important. And I do a workshop that's talking about like dressing your brand and that type of thing mostly for managers and team leaders who want to make sure their team feels like they're cohesive and, they're showing up the way that the team leader wants them to. And that whole thing of like, this is the message that we're sending to everybody who meets us is incredibly important, especially in higher value situations. You might buy, I don't know, a pair of pants from somebody who doesn't look amazing, but you're not going to spend $100,000 with somebody who looks awful and a train wreck. But it's the truth, right? Like when there's a lot of money on the line, the way somebody shows up is incredibly important.
And can it go the other way? Because I'm thinking, of like that kind of very put together, a bit slimy salesperson who's so suited and booted to the point of it's a bit off-putting. Can it swing the other way?
I love that. No, I absolutely love that. And I think that's one of the things and it started way before the pandemic. Do you know what I mean? Like people were getting more relaxed, not only in their appearance at home, but also absolutely at their appearance at work. So then we went through this like whole, like work from home, and then it was a hybrid and all of that. So that has really changed the way people show up. And I think that's one of the things that's making it so tough, especially for women, because guys have so many fewer options when it comes to clothes and all of that. But for women, we have a lot of options, right? Like suits and pants, like the whole thing. I think that's one of the things that where it used to be very defined. We'd have our weekend wear and we'd have our work clothes. And it was very clear. Like, I don't know about you, but I had 2 sections in my closet. And if it was Monday through Friday, I knew exactly what I was going to grab. If it was the weekend, I went to the other side. That's one of the things that's making it so challenging for women right now, right? Because you don't just have those 2 buckets anymore. You have the work from home bucket where I'm going to be on video, or you have the casual Friday, which is turned into super duper casual Friday. And then you have those moments where you have to like give a presentation or, show up with the management team in the office and all of that. So it just makes it so much more difficult because there's so many more choices.
I'm curious because you always hear, don't you, about stories about how fashion shapes culture, youth shapes fashion, which shapes culture. It's all an intertwined, ecosystem. Have we seen any trends? The one that's springing to mind is, how after or during World War II or during periods of conflict, women will tend to gravitate towards brighter colours or bright lipstick. Have we seen any trends like that during post-pandemic?
Well, a couple thoughts pop to mind. The first one is there's when it gets to be super casual, right? There's that I'm going to stay super casual. I don't care what happens, right? Now, though, it feels like women are getting tired of that. Like they're tired of the yoga pants. They're tired of the shapeless clothes and all of that. And there's really been, at least with my clients, there's been a big resurgence for wanting to, have fun with clothes again. You know what I mean? And yes, to your point about the sleazy salesman, car salesman, it looks different than it used to, right? There's still that I'm not going to corset myself into something super uncomfortable. Like I still appreciate that comfort, but I want to step it up a little bit. And I want to let people know that I did put an effort into the way that I look and the way I show up. Because there's also that thing where, if you're from the customer standpoint and you see somebody and you don't feel like they put a lot of effort into it, there is a subliminal message that says, well, if they're not going to put effort into how they showed up to meet me, how much effort are they going to put into my project, my job, like whatever I'm hiring them to do? So there's that we always have to keep in mind.
If somebody is listening, much like me now, and going, I've never really thought about this before, and I probably need to think about what I wear as the brand that I'm presenting to the world. Where do I start with that?
I love that. And it can be really overwhelming, right? There was something I read somewhere like the average woman has 163 things in her closet. So the first thing is that a lack of clothes, despite the fact that one of the things I hear all the time is I have nothing to wear, despite that, we have too much to wear. You know what I mean? And sometimes you walk into your closet and it's so overwhelming that you don't even know where to start. So one of the things, and this is a trend. I said, I can't think of anything when you said that, but this is a trend that I have noticed. Women really are focusing on less, but better quality, better choices, better, like more flattering to their specific body shape and that type of thing. I don't feel like there's the I want to buy everything type of mentality right now. It really is more of a I want it to be right type of thing. But in answer to your question, where do you start? This is such a great question. And you can take it from a couple different standpoints. So if you're looking at, this is my personal brand, this is how I'm showing up to work. What is it that you want everybody else, what you want their perception to be of you? And with my clients, I encourage them to come up with 3 adjectives. And usually they'll come up with things like, oh, I want to look trustworthy, or I want to look professional, or whatever. But those words don't really say anything, right? Like you want to dig a little bit deeper into that. If you work in the art department, you're going to have a much more creative vibe than somebody who works in finance or in accounting or that type of thing. So you really want to dig deeper into those words. And then what we do is we take those words and we translate that into a visual style. So whether that looks like tailored pants and a feminine blouse, or whether that looks like a suit, because that's the requirement of where you're at. But really think about if somebody said, Leanne, what do you think about Leanne? And I said 3 things. What would you want those 3 words to be? What my clients do is they create a Pinterest board, and they usually keep it secret because it's not something that they want, it's just between, like, we share it back and forth. They create a Pinterest board for each of those words. And then they start pinning things to each of the boards that mean that. So if it's going to be like, I want it to be tailored and minimalist, or I want it to be colorful and artsy, or whatever the words happen to be, they pin a few things to that board. I encourage them to start with 5. That is usually enough for the Pinterest algorithm to pick up on what they're doing. And then all of a sudden you're flooded with more ideas, more graphics, more images along those lines. And then when they're done, they usually have between 25 to 35 of those images pinned to each of those words. You would be amazed. It happens every time, and I'm still amazed. When we go through their board together, the commonality of their images, it like pops out at you and you're like, oh, look at this. This is like, that you like cropped blazers. Okay. I mean, and because almost every image has a cropped blazer in it. So even those women who think, oh, I don't have a style, I don't really know what it is, they really do. They just haven't put it into words or to pictures yet. But once we look at those boards, we're like, oh my gosh, look at this. So you have like some very definitive things about what you want your personal style to be. And then, I mean, they do all the work. I mean, I lead them in the right direction, but the clients do all the work. And then shopping becomes super easy because we know, what do you have? What do you not have? What gaps do we need to fill in? Easy peasy.
Do your clients tend to come to you at a particular age? The reason I ask, I'm about to turn 40 in about a month's time. And I'm concerned as I get older of dressing appropriately, but not like an old person, because I don't feel old. But at the same time, I feel is there a point where I need to start elevating my style? Perhaps is that a thing, or is it really just for every individual?
Wow, there was so much goodness there. I don't want to forget a thing. Okay, so is there a time where clients usually come to me? 100%. It's usually if they're entrepreneurs, it's usually when they're ready to up-level their business. They're going to have more visibility opportunities. They're going to have more speaking engagements. They just wrote a book, that type of thing. So visibility is a deal, and they want to feel confident in whatever that looks like. The other thing is usually when there's big life changes. I just had a baby and now I don't recognize my body and I don't know how to dress for it anymore. I'm like going through menopause and I don't know what is going on with my body and nothing fits and all of that. So normally it's like one of those things that triggers it. I've several clients who like get a promotion to a director or a C-suite position and they feel like they need to level up their image because they're leading a bigger, more important team now. So it's usually something along those lines. And really, you think about it, and I don't know about you, but nobody ever taught me how to shop. You know, my mom and I would go shopping, but I mean, she was like shooting in the dark as much as I was. Like we were just picking out things, trying things on. Sometimes it was successful, sometimes it wasn't. We had a whole bunch of, like clothes in the closet, but not necessarily like pulled together outfits. Well, and it's not her fault. I totally don't blame her. When she listens, I don't want her to think I'm blaming, but nobody ever teaches us how to get dressed for our body shape. And then as women, your body's going to change. So then you need to know what to do when that happens so you don't freak out and start blaming yourself or blaming your body and all of that. So there's that. Then you made a comment about you're going to turn 40. Happy early birthday, by the way. And then age appropriate. So one of the things that helps women with the whole age appropriate thing, and you look at women now, and I'm 52, and I feel like when I was 20, I heard 52 and I was like, oh my God, you might as well just like pack it in, you're done, right? But 50 looks a lot different today, I think. I'm probably biased, but 50 looks a lot different today than it did 30 years ago. So the whole like age appropriate thing, I don't know. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with it. We've all seen those girls who were like, we don't know what age appropriate is, but we know that's not it, right? Like we're like, oh gosh. But I think when you learn how to dress for the body that you have today, I mean, like my boobs are not where they were at when I was 20, right? So obviously, like things I wear on top are not going to be as revealing or as tight and all of that as it was 30 years ago. But when you dress for the body you have, then it kind of takes care of the whole age appropriate thing.
As you said dress for the body you have. And I wonder if a lot of, and myself included, spend a lot of time planning to buy the clothes for the body we're going to have in 6 months' time. I mean, if anyone's listening going, I like the sound of that. Is there anything I can do to understand my body, my shape, and understand where to start shopping?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So the first exercise, I have a 5-step program that I take all my new clients through. The first one is body shape, because that's where it all starts. I mean, it doesn't matter if you know what colors look great on you or you know what your favorite accessories are. If you don't know how to dress for your body shape, we have to stop right there. When I first started style coaching, I heard, and I would start with the whole body shape conversation. I heard a lot of, I'm an apple and my shoulders are too broad and my boobs are too big, or I'm a pear and my butt's too big and my stomach's too big and my hips are too wide. And it was always like, this is what I am and this is why it's bad. And I spent all my effort trying to hide what's bad. And I was like, oh my God, this is totally depressing. So we flipped the script a little bit, well, probably a lot. And instead, what we do is, so I say to you, what is your very favorite feature? What do you love most about your figure?
Do you want me to answer?
I do.
My boobs.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yes. That's amazing. No. But you know what I think is funny? And you're not the only one that does that, is anytime somebody says my boobs are my favorite feature, they whisper it. I'm like, girl, scream it. Scream it. Now, I know that there's going to be listeners who are like, oh my gosh, there's no way. I am not going to wear a bunch of like hoochie mama tops showing off a bunch of cleavage. And that's not what it's about. I mean, obviously, I work with professional women. There's not a ton of cleavage going on, right? But there are subtle ways that you can enhance your boobs and still create that balanced body shape that we're going for. So after you pick your favorite feature, we decide, how are we going to accentuate it? Is it going to be layered necklaces? Is it going to be a gentle V-neck? Is it going to be buttoned up tops? Whatever that is, whatever makes sense with your lifestyle, your personal style, what your aspirations are, and all of that. Then we look at the rest of your body shape. And the idea is, I mean, it's really easy. The idea is just to create the illusion of balance. You know how we've all seen those makeup tutorials on YouTube where some chick takes like contour and highlight. She doesn't have any cheekbones. And then all of a sudden, magically, with like, she has like the most dramatic, like exotic cheekbones ever. That's all we're doing with clothes. We're just using clothes as a tool to create the illusion of a balanced body shape. Some women have it naturally, some women don't. It's fine. If you have, delicate shoulders and a perky bust, and then, like a fuller bum and thigh area, then we're going to add volume on top. When I look at you from head to toe, I'm going to say you're balanced, or vice versa.
Okay. And is that balance that, I guess that hourglass figure, is that what we mean by balance?
Yes. And it doesn't necessarily mean hourglass from the standpoint of, it doesn't have to be a super defined waist or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? What the most pleasing appearance is just when it looks like everything is working together. Now, there are absolutely examples, Kim Kardashian being one of them, who, doesn't care, like what the body shape is. She's going to accentuate what she wants to accentuate. And that's amazing for women who are so beautifully confident. Not everybody is that incredibly confident. It's almost like, how when you were learning how to drive and they were saying, like, put your hands at 9 and 3, 10 and 2. I can't even remember what it was. That's how much I paid attention. But they gave you some parameters to start with. Like, don't follow the car ahead of you too close. Make sure you give yourself 5 seconds to stop at a stop sign, whatever the situation is. It's kind of like that when you're learning how to dress for your body shape. You have some parameters. And then once you're super confident with that, you can break all the rules that you want to.
I always like to play devil's avocado when chatting to a guest or covering things on the podcast, and it's that I can hear some voices from women in my head going, "What are you talking about? It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you look like. Hourglass figures, what rubbish. It's all about confidence." And what if there's anyone out there listening going, "This is making me feel uncomfortable. This feels like we're objectifying women's bodies in the workplace." What do you say to that?
I love that. And I would love to say that everybody you meet is in such an elevated mental state that they're not judging us. But we know that they're 100% judging us. It doesn't matter. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to come up with reasons to hate us or think, they're not. It's just human nature. And at this point, I only can accomplish so many things, and changing human nature at this point in my life is probably not one of them. So we can absolutely say, it's not fair. You should appreciate me because of my big fat brain and how brilliant I am and all of that. And that's amazing. And if you want to, that's great. When you're talking about growing your career or building your business and all of that, we have to deal with reality. And at this point in our evolution, that's reality. So yes. And to your point, the other thing, objectifying. So, I guess you could look at it like, when you feel confident in your outfit and you're accentuating your favorite feature, are you objectifying yourself? I've never thought about it like that before. But I do know how I show up when I love my outfit. And I also know how I show up when my makeup's a mess, my hair's, frizzy, and all of that. And it's two different people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's distracting when I don't feel good. And I don't think I'm the only one that's like that.
So you've convinced me. I need to create some kind of brand, style that's going to reflect my brand. Where do I start? I remember working with a client once who I was doing some career coaching with, who was known as like the sneaker guy or like the sneaker leader, because he'd have really cool sneakers that he'd wear along with quite a sharp suit or, something like that. Do I need that? Do I need a thing? Do I need a bit?
So you're just full of amazing questions. So I love this one. So say that you said he was a career coach.
I was coaching him. He
You
was
were
a
his
senior leader.
career
Yeah,
coach.
he was a senior
Okay,
leader.
guys. So let's just use the career coach example because I like that one. So say you're on LinkedIn and you're like, you kind of consider it a career coach, but you haven't made the decision yet. You don't blah, 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 all of that. So you're scrolling through LinkedIn and you see a post from Leanne. Oh, she's a career coach. You won't remember, I won't remember your name. And then I see another career coach and another career, and you know how they're like all of a sudden their career coaches are coming out of the walls. Then I see another post from you. And I probably don't remember your company. I definitely don't remember your name at this point, but you're the girl with the loopy curls that always wears super smart glasses. So, and then I see you the third time and I'm like, oh my God, this girl is everywhere. Every time I turn around, she must be an amazing career coach. So it takes down that when you have a signature, like his sneakers, your glasses, whatever that signature is, it takes down that know, like, and trust factor from whatever it is today, because they say it's like, now I have to see you 19 times before I remember your name or whatever. It scrunches that down until that know, like, and trust factor is a lot faster. And you have instant credibility because I'm looking at you going, oh my gosh, she has and I'm maybe not thinking this consciously, but I'm thinking like she really has it pinned down. Like, I bet she could help me. So yes, we call it a signature. It's typically an accessory. It can be, I have a client, she wears red lipstick no matter what she's doing, everywhere. Like red is her jam, red lipstick, red is, she has red glasses, she has red earrings, but she's always like, it's a bold red statement. I have another one who wears white blouses all the time. Like that's her thing. She's in a very colorful industry. So that really makes her stand out when everybody else is trying to be super bright and loud and all that.
So what signature would you recommend for a podcaster who spent most of her time behind a microphone and is only now starting to show her face to the world?
Well, congratulations. You're just like what we were talking about, like stepping up the visibility. Yes, that is. And when we started that whole like Zoom work from home thing, that definitely became a thing, right? Because we had to keep the party on top, because otherwise, like I used to wear like the craziest, highest heeled platform shoes all the time. Well, then nobody can see them. So what difference does it make? Like that, what a wasted effort. So you definitely want to keep it like from the boobs up, to the top. You could do anything. I do love the smart glasses idea because you are a brainiac. So I like how that ties into like your brand and your style and all of that. You could also do fun earrings. You could do something different with your hair, like wear it in a very specific style consistently so it becomes like your thing. It is tougher though when it's like from here. I can see your necklace a little bit. If you moved your microphone a little bit, you could also do some fun necklaces.
Yeah. Like statement. So, yeah.
Yes. You could also do something fun with your headphones.
Like people do with bags, like when they what's it called when you? So I told you
don't bejewel them.
Not bejewel them. No, they have like little charms. Would that be weird?
Maybe a little bit. I was thinking more of a color, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, yeah.
Oh, bedazzle. I knew when I said bejewel, I'm like, that's not right. Bedazzle. Don't do that. But
I see. So that's the girl with the yellow headphones kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. I love that.
And with that in mind, where does the line go between having like a signature and just becoming a distraction?
Oh, right. Oh, that is such a great question. So, well, number one, if it's distracting to you, it's going to be distracting to everybody else, right? Because you and I do so much work, via video and Zoom and that type of thing. Anything that is too loud, you fiddle with it. That's one of the reasons I started wearing my hair up all the time. My VA said, if you do one more video where you're flicking your hair around, but it was always in my face. So I was like, I can't help it. It's just always in my face. So hence the So now I always have it pulled back so I don't mess with it. So in answer to your question, if it bothers you, it's going to bother everybody watching. But yeah, nothing that makes too much noise or is like you're fiddling with it. I think those are the two big things. And don't forget, you always have your backdrop to help reinforce whatever you're doing.
Let's talk about that because before we started recording, I said, I love your backdrop. Is that, I mean, I know Al would definitely say this is a thing because he obsesses over our backdrop. And I kind of get it, but from an expert in style, in design, how much impact does a background have on a
Right?
personal brand?
Yes. So I personally feel like it has a ton. When we first started the whole Zoom thing, I looked like I was in prison. Like there was nothing. No, I mean, like legit. People were like, "What? Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm in my office." Why? They're like, you look like you're in prison." So there's that happy medium, right? You want it to reinforce your brand while not being distracting. You see those people and they're usually like guests on news programs. And I don't know if they just want you to think they're super duper smart, but they are sitting in front of floor to ceiling bookshelves with books crammed on them. And I find it so distracting. I'm like, why are those books crooked? Why don't they have them like, alphabet? Like, it's so distracting. That could just be me and my OCD. But anyways, you want it to have that happy medium between like not like reinforcing what your brand is and the colors and all of that while not distracting from the message that you're sending. And I think it's best to start with a blank wall like I did and then just gradually add to it because all of a sudden it can be too much, right? So yes. But yeah, no, I think background is incredibly important. I have a client, she's an interior decorator, and she has the most gorgeous backdrop I've ever seen in my life. And it's completely understated, but you can just tell she has that beautiful design eye because of the way she has a console table behind her. And she just has, I think, maybe like 3 vases and then like one knick-knacky thing. But the way it's set up, like the first time I met her, I was like, that's gorgeous. I can tell that you really understand what you're doing. Wasn't because it was a lot, but it was because it was so well done and reinforcing what she did for a living.
And I have so much admiration for people who have as you do, have the eye for that level of style. And it just, when it comes together, it just looks so nice. And as you say, it breeds trust and confidence in somebody else's ability, particularly something like interior design when it's literally tied to what they do. It's a live example, isn't it, of what they're going to do.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. If she'd peeling wallpaper on the back, I don't know that I would have trusted her from the beginning so much.
I want to talk about different demographics. We focused on women so far. I mean, and I know you work primarily with women, but how do men experience workplace dress and the expectations attached to that? Is it different?
It is a little bit. In fact, there was a study that was done, and I think it was from one of those like career website things, but it said that women who were perceived as being well dressed and put together made 12% more money than their counterparts who were not perceived the same way. For men, and this is what I thought was surprising in answer to your question, what I thought was surprising for men, it was even worse. It was like the men who were perceived as put together they make 15 to 17% more money. So we talk about the pay inequality and all of that. But if you're a guy, I would be worried about pay inequality. Like, is that guy, because he has like his shirt is pressed, is he making 17% more than me? Do you know what I mean? Like I would have a question about that. But the thing about it is it wasn't like the people that they did that they were super stylish and always looked like, like glamorous, Instagram influencers. It wasn't like that at all. It was really very simple. Like their clothes fit well. They were tailored. Their hair was clean. For women, they had a minimal amount of makeup on. It wasn't like they were asking us to jump through hoops for this, right? It was actually very easy to do. So, I mean, and for guys, I think the tailoring and the pressing are even more important because they do have so many fewer options than we do. So if they come in with a wrinkled shirt and grubby jeans, like you're like, really? Come on now. You couldn't throw it in the dryer first?
I can't believe that, really, that pay difference just in terms of wow.
I know. There is another fun thing, and this kind of goes back to the signature, but then it also talks about guys too. And there was it always makes me think of Mark Zuckerberg when I talk about, but it's called the red sneaker effect. And there was two different situations, and I'm going to probably smush them into one big situation, but there were like 10 or 12 guys, and they were at a black tie event. And they were clearly a group, but one of the guys had a red bow tie on instead of the black bow tie that everybody else in his group had on. And then they asked a panel of people, who's the guy that's in charge? Who's the boss, the owner, whatever? And they all said universally, the guy with the red bow tie on. So it goes back to it doesn't have to be huge. Like the signature, like we were talking about, it doesn't have to be huge. It can be something very subtle. And then there was some other guy who did actually wear red sneakers. And you know what I mean? And it proved the same point that when you do just something slightly different, the perception of your standing in a group or in a company or whatever is elevated in the viewer's mind.
It's so interesting, isn't it? How these worlds collide. And I want to ask you about other conversations that we've seen happening over the last few years, thankfully happening. I'm thinking particularly in terms of the Black community and women in the Black community who there's been lots of debates and discussion around natural hair in the workplace and how is that professional or appropriate. I I would love your take on that in terms of, I guess if you know of any research or in terms of kind of the perception of it, but also in terms of how employers should be approaching differences, gender differences, ethnicity differences in terms of dress policy in the workplace.
So I think this is so fascinating for so many reasons. So because I work with business owners and people who have teams and all of that. And one of the things that puts them into an incredibly difficult situation, and when, we're on the initial call and we're talking about like, we're going to teach an image workshop for your team. What does that look like? Blah, blah, blah. And I say to them, talk to me about your written dress code policy. Two things happen. Number one, it's from a bajillion years ago and it hasn't been updated since you had to wear hose and heels. Like that's how old it is. Or they don't have anything at all written down. So apparently, I don't know, but employees are just supposed to like magically read your mind as to how you want them to show up, which is really unfair because, you know what I mean? Like all you have to do is like look at other people and say, well, I hope I'm getting this right. Well, again, it goes back to you want your boss to be consistent and you want to know what to expect. Well, that's putting them into an incredibly unfair position. The whole professional thing, I think when we're talking about different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different cultures and all of that, there's different feelings on the word professional, right? Some people don't have a thought about it. Some people, it's definitely a trigger. And specifically, you don't look professional. Well, that is not any kind of coaching. And you would know this better than I being an HR expert, but like not professional. I'm sorry, you're going to have to be specific with me on that. Like, what does that look like? And the more you can lay it out for your team, well, ideally during the interview process or during the onboarding and all of that, you're doing everybody a favor because there's not a boss, owner anywhere on this planet that wants to have a dress code conversation. It's the most uncomfortable. Well, there's probably more uncomfortable, but it's super uncomfortable to have to talk to somebody about what they're wearing, how they show up, and all of that. So do yourself a favor, do your team a favor, lay it out, be very clear. I feel like the interview, like towards the end of the interview process is the best place because if there is an issue or, that's going to be a problem for your potential new hire, it's only fair to let them know before they say yes.
Are there any kind of absolute no-nos in terms of a quote-unquote professional dress code? Anything you like, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no?
There's so many different environments. There's so many different, companies and organizations and all of that. I would love to say anything goes, just depends on the environment, depends on the culture, I do feel, though, that kind of goes back to like the objectifying women thing. As women, we do need to think about who is our customer, whether it's our boss or whether it's an actual customer, and think about if I would wear it to the club, if the skirt's so short, if the neckline is so low that I would wear it to a club or I'd wear it out on a date with my guy, is it appropriate for work? And is it really sending the message about you and your work product that you want it to?
I suppose it's whether it's, as you said earlier, it's distracting from what you're there to do in terms of task or conversation or interaction. If it's distracting from that, whether that be too much skin or hair in your face or a ruffled shirt, then if it's a distraction, then it's
Right.
not great.
Yes. It's funny because and this is actually a career coach, and we're connected on LinkedIn, and she'll do these videos and I know it's like, oh, I just got done at the gym. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so lovely. I haven't seen the inside of a gym in 10 years. But so I know that like the sports bra thing is designed to make it look like, hey, I'm active, I'm on top of it, blah, blah, blah. The boobage, though, I just, and then she brags about how much she charges. And I just think it's just hard for me to find that real. I don't want to say it's not true. I just have a hard time believing that people are going to spend that much money when you come sweaty, hot with so much going on right here. So, but that's me and my personal judgment.
But is a designer clothes important? Do designer clothes look smarter? Does it give an impression above shopping at the high street?
Some brands and designers can be very important to some women. And if that's important to you, I have zero judgment about that. I do think you get to a point, though, in your life where you feel confident enough in how you look, what you wear, what your closet looks like, what what you do for a living, and you have a level of happiness that you don't feel that's so necessary. Do my clients buy designer? Sometimes if they like it. I don't feel like they're buying it just because of the brand, though. So I think you get to a certain point where it's more important how I feel in something versus, advertising for Louis Vuitton.
And if I was looking to build quite a versatile wardrobe with, as you say, those signature pieces, because that does seem to be a trend, doesn't it? Whether, environmental or sustainability or even just, cost of living, fast fashion seems like it's had its day. Is there any tips you'd give to people who want how to pick those key pieces for a wardrobe?
One of the things that makes it that whole I have nothing to wear thing that really reinforces that is a lack of staples. When you don't have enough layering pieces that, oh my gosh, it's cold outside, I need a cardigan or I need a blazer to throw over it. When you don't have enough of those pieces, all of a sudden getting dressed becomes a lot more difficult. So, and that's one of the things, it's not a sexy thing. It's not oh really? You think we need basics and essentials? Well, yes. It's not to say that has to be your entire closet, but you need to have enough that when it gets cold, when it gets hot, and all of that, you can tweak your favorite pieces enough to be weather appropriate, situationally appropriate, and all of that. So that's the first thing. And like I said, it's not sexy. So, and especially for petites, it can be tough to find things that fit that well that, you can have button down blouse in the, all the most important colors. So there's that. The other thing is that my clients who come to me that are struggling the most, their closet looks like a rainbow and they have every color on the planet. They love how colorful they are. And I think that's amazing. And it makes mixing and matching and pulling together an outfit that feels cohesive a lot more challenging, right? Because if you have, unless you're rainbow bright, but do you know what I mean? It's because nothing can go. And so if that black pencil skirt has a stain on it, then I'm stuck because, the only other thing I have is an orange pencil skirt. So having those some sort of a cohesive color theme. A good rule of thumb is if you have a color palette, whether it be black, white, and gray or navy, khaki, and white, or whatever that is, if 80-ish% of your closet falls into that color palette, you're going to have a lot more mixing and matching opportunities than somebody who has a rainbow closet. So.
And on the flip side of that, if somebody maybe has, can't imagine who I'm talking about, Angela, but if somebody might have a wardrobe that say is mainly black, white, grey, beige, and with the odd, there might be a bit of green in there, olive green from time to time. should I feel pressure to inject color in my wardrobe? Or are you like, "Do you know what, Leanne? You do you, if that's your thing." Or am I going to blend into the background? How much do I need to think and worry about this?
No, you be you. There is not a thing wrong with black, white, gray, and beige. Not a thing. Unless you're bored. Unless you walk into your closet and you're like, this is not fun because I feel like a monochromatic painting. If that, then absolutely let's spark, let's inject some, pops of color. That's such an easy thing to do. But no, don't feel any pressure. Don't feel, this is the other thing. People are like, oh, I feel like I should wear like a floral something. It's spring. Or I feel like I should like inject some prints. Do you like prints? If you do, fantastic. If you don't, who cares? Like, no. Like, and that's one of the things when you become confident in your personal style, it's so much easier to walk away from things, especially trends that you're like, nope, not going to work on me. I just flat out don't like it. Not going to participate. There's plenty of other trends this season that I can take part in if I want to. So no, don't feel pressured unless you're bored. The best compliment I can get is when my clients say to me, it is so much fun getting up and getting dressed in the morning. I have so much fun. That's the best thing they can say to me because I know it's fun because they like what's in their closet and they know it makes them look good.
I mean, I can't say I'm at a, maybe I need to talk to you about your service, Angela, because I can't say I'm at a point where I open my closet and I'm excited to get dressed, but I do have certain pieces or certain things that I wear and I feel great in, and I look forward to the day I can wear it again because it's been long enough since the last time I wore it. So yeah, I can see how that would just elevate your mood. How does everything we've talked about fit into your spark method?
So we've talked about a lot. The first one is body shape. The second one is the perfect pant formula because Leanne, like pants are troublesome for short girls. They're come up to your boobs or they're dragging on the floor and all of that. So there's a simple 3-part formula that we put together so you can always find pants that fit you. Then we talk about accessories. So accessories can either go to your signature accessory, like we're talking about, your headphones. I'm going to keep slipping that in there. So, so afterwards you're like, yes, I want to go look for a pair. But it can also be what accessories can accentuate your favorite feature. Then we talk about refining your style. So that's where the 3 adjectives come in, and also what colors look best on your skin tone. Now, we are not the color police around here. Like, I am not going to tell somebody not to wear a color that happens to be their favorite because it's not on their ideal color palette. But it does help sometimes to fix an outfit that's not working. When you put something on, whether you're in a store or whether you actually own it, and you're like, gosh, what is this? Like, I just don't feel as good in this. I don't feel like my skin is as smooth and pretty looking or whatever. You'll know. And I think a lot of times knowing how to fix an outfit that's like on the fence is as powerful as just being able to pick out the right stuff, right? So that's refining the style. And then the last step is keeping your closet clean. So purging the items that don't work, filling in the blanks, knowing what to buy, not about just shopping without a purpose. You need to have a list. You need to know why, why am I, when I get this perfect black belt, what does that mean that I'm going to have all these other options, or it's going to make this outfit look more polished and that type of thing. I think one of the things that's so harmful to a woman's self-esteem is when she walks into her closet and she's like, nope, makes my butt look big. Nope, my hips. Nope, shows off my stomach. Nope, nope, nope. And you just filled your mind with all this garbage about how your body is wrong and all of that. Like, how are you supposed to leave the house and feel amazing and go crush your goals? Like, I mean, I can't do that. I can't imagine there's a ton of women out there. So we want to get rid of the items that aren't working, slowly add items that will work and will make it fun to get dressed in the morning.
What I love about that, Angela, is it sounds like there's a methodology, there's some guideline anchor points to follow, but equally what you're saying is don't get hung up on the trends. Yeah, color theory is great, but it's not, you don't have to be a slave to it. You can have fun with it. It's about feeling good. It sounds as though you found a balance between this is what we can do to make you feel great whilst also being an individual and true to yourself, authentic.
Oh, I love that. I'm totally going to take that snippet and put it on my website.
Please do.
Thank you. I hope so. I just, so many women are like, I'm however old. I'm 40 years old and I haven't found out my style and I don't know how to shop and I don't know what to wear and all of that. And then they get to that point where, oh, I just wasn't born with the style gene. Like there's a gene, there's an extra chromosome somewhere that some women have and some women don't, and I don't have it. So I'm just stuck feeling frumpy or not stylish or whatever. And that's not the case at all. I really look at style as it really is. It's a science. And there's lots of women who are going to, like people, stylists, who are going to make it sound super complicated, but it's not. It's really not.
Is there one thing that anyone could do today to maybe start to, or I guess a starting point? Because like you said, we've talked about so much stuff and so much exciting stuff that I instantly want to get onto Pinterest and go shopping. But for the sake of my bank account, where should I start?
Okay, don't shop. That is going to be the key takeaway for the listeners. Don't buy another thing. Don't purge anything until you have a plan, because that's what got us into the situation we're in right now with a closet packed of 163 items, which we wear 10% of, and we end up wearing the same thing over and over and over again. So don't shop until you have a strategy, whether that's my strategy, Leanne's strategy, a strategy you got from someone. Do you know what I mean? But have a plan, because just to your point, just spending money on more stuff is rarely the answer. Rarely the answer. As many of my clients who've said, oh my gosh, I don't have anything to wear, not one of them have they shown me their closet and it literally be empty. Like there's stuff in there. That might not be the right stuff, but until we know what that is, just buying more wrong stuff isn't helpful.
Angela, honestly, I could talk to you. I can't believe the hour's gone. I could talk to you for another hour. It's so interesting. I have one question that I would like to think there's many people out there that are burning to ask a stylist. What does dressy casual mean?
Is that the worst? That is the bloomin' worst. Not to get off topic. A client, we were having a coaching session, and I have retainer clients and we meet once a month and we look at, we map out their outfits for the month. She got an invitation to a wedding and it literally said cocktail casual. I'm like, that's like an, number one oxymoron, I think. Jumbo shrimp. Is that what it is? Yes.
Yeah.
Jumbo. Yes. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And nobody else does either. Stop coming up with things that, do you know what I mean? Like, don't mean anything. But in answer to your question, and this is, again, it goes back to not having something written down, not having specific expectations. That whole, like dressy casual, business casual, all those like buzzwords that people have pulled out, whoever the leader is, they need to be very specific as to what that means. Does that mean ripped up jeans? Does it mean no denim, only khakis? Does it mean, because it can mean a bajillion different things. So do everybody in your atmosphere a favor and be specific about it, because you and I both know, like we work with in a lot of different situations with different organizations. Business casual does not mean the same thing to everybody. So please do your team a favor and be clear.
Angela, thank you so much. For our listeners, I'm sure there's loads of them who want to find out more about you, your services, how to get in touch. Where should they go?
Absolutely. So I have a gift for your listeners. It's a body shape quiz, so they can get started knowing the styles and silhouettes that flatter their shape the best. They can go to angelafoster.co/Leanne. And they'll get thrown right into the quiz with a personalized video afterwards with recommendations and that type of thing.
That sounds so cool. I'm going to send it to all my friends as well. Oh, Angela, thank you so much. It's been such a joy and such an interesting and light conversation. It can sometimes be a bit tricky and triggering talking about this type of thing, but you've made it really fun and light and accessible and for everybody. So thank you so much for that. I hope we have you again on the show soon.
Oh, I would love that. And thank you so much for having me. It has been the most fun hour of the day.
That was the amazing Angela Foster. All the links are in the show notes, so you'll be able to go and check out what she's doing. Like Leanne says, there's loads of stuff on her website, which is really good resources and stuff which can help you to work out exactly what you should be wearing to your next meeting, your next work event, basically anything, really.
Basically anything. Follow her on LinkedIn as well. She's always popping up in the comment sections, offering some free advice. Her website, angelastylecoach.com, is well worth checking out. Huge thanks to Angela Foster, generally one of my favorite guests that we've had on the show. Thanks for bearing with us while we've been on holiday, and we practice what we preach, and we probably are thinking about you, actually, because we do our best podcast thinking when we're on holiday. And we'll be back soon.
Right, so we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Actually, can't say that word. We will see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.